What's up, and welcome to episode 149 of Life in Motion. I've got Shep Roeper with me from Beyond Boundaries. Now, if you've been following us for any time at all, you know that we're a huge fan of their mission and love supporting their mission to provide outdoor activities for anybody, no matter their physical, cognitive, or economic situation. So I'm also really thrilled to announce they are May's nonprofit partner, which means 20% of sales from illumincollect.com will be donated to support their mission. I'm excited to learn more about their impact and what the community collection means to them. Shep, thanks for being on the show once again.
Yeah, thanks for having me once again. I always enjoy and look forward to our meetings.
Yes, absolutely. And I always love catching up and kind of hearing what you're up to. But before we get into Beyond Boundaries, and for those who have maybe not have heard a past episode or anything about yourself personally, what's a little story of kind of how you got into this and what started Beyond Boundaries?
Sure. Yeah. So I was an outdoor enthusiast, loved playing in the woods, kind of non-traditional sport activities growing up. I found myself at Radford University with my co-founder, Kyle Burnette, and we did outdoor recreation and some therapeutic rec program stuff through the university. Moved out to California and really kind of got lucked into an opportunity to work for a company that really pioneered outdoor adaptive adventures for people with disabilities. In the 60s and 70s, wanted to volunteer with something like that in Richmond when we moved back home to Richmond, Virginia. Didn't really find anything after the research that we were doing, so we decided to start a nonprofit ourselves. That was in 2014. Started running programs in 2015 with just whitewater rafting, kids with disabilities, physical, cognitive, and developmental. And since then, the last 9 years has just kind of blown up in a great way. So we do whitewater rafting, paddling, fishing, hiking, rock climbing, kayaking, and pontoon programs. We have an adventure club program now, kind of like scouts and survival school mixture. We work with people with disabilities. About 70% of our programs are like that. And then the other 30% are evenly split between underserved youth programs, veterans, and substance recovery. And we do a lot of partnerships. This whole community aspect is really big within our organization. We do some of those programs in-house, but a lot of those programs we bring in outside contractors and partners to kind of co-facilitate that. So we love our community.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And to hear kind of the story of, you having that experience out West and then kind of bringing that back there. So what, coming back home to Richmond after that experience, and be like, hey, I want to volunteer somewhere, but there's nowhere to do it. Some people will be like, well, that's a bummer. I guess I'm not going to do that. So like, what was it that really I guess captured your experiences out West that you were like, hey, okay, that's fine. There's a need here. It's not here. Nobody else is going to create it. I'm going to do it myself. There's a lot that goes into that. Where did that come from?
There is. We could probably unwrap that for hours. But for the sake of time, I think that anyone who really has spent time outdoors, no matter what it is, of simply just being outside or doing an activity like birding or paddling or hiking or whatever, knows how therapeutic it can be, how beneficial, how we can work on confidence and get out of our comfort zones, work on social skills, communication, team building, independence. There's so many great things that you could kind of piece together from just being outside. Having that vitamin D on your face is just amazing. And what they did out West was just kind of show us that there's a lot of people who don't have those opportunities or don't have them as often as they should. Typically there's a financial or a physical barrier for why people don't get involved in the outdoors. It's an access, it's an awareness issue, and a lot of it's money driven. It's an expensive place to play, and equipment and gear and safety that all cost money and experience. And if you don't know where to start, that's one thing. But even if you know where to start, don't have the funds to do it, that's another thing. So we really work hard to fundraise and bring in local sponsorship and opportunities to make sure that the funding side of thing is not a barrier for our community to enjoy these activities.
Yeah, absolutely. So as as you started off, kind of you mentioned you started kind of the whitewater rafting and then kind of expanded since then. Has that kind of been each year you add a different program, and then what does that look like to find that program? Because it's not necessarily reinventing the wheel, but it's a completely different activity maybe. So what is that process like as far as finding the individuals, maybe the volunteers to help along with that, but then also the participants as well to kind of that outreach.
Yeah, I think we kind of stumbled into adding a new program every year. I don't think it's like it was our direct goal to just grow by a program every 12 months. But really what it started was, when we started rafting and we had such a great time, and just through natural conversation, we were like, what else do you want to do? And we heard their response, and we either could do it because we were passionate and had the ability to. And if we couldn't, we did research and found new groups, partners, businesses, individuals who knew what they were doing and could offer that program service, and we would partner with them. So, we're kind of piloting a biking program now because that's been of some interest to some of our groups. We don't own the bikes, but we partner with a local organization. I think T. Clarkson was on your podcast at one point with Virginia Outside, so he helps us to do the biking stuff. So, it's all through community relations that, if we can't do it, we'll find a partner, and we'll get together and do it. And I think as we have grown, our support, our volunteer base has grown, our staff has grown. And with that growth, they brought in, outside skills that beyond what Kyle and I brought to the table, 9 years ago.
Yeah. And to be able to have that knowledge and kind of that brain trust almost of these different outdoor activities, and then being like, hey, I love what you're doing. I'm supporting what they're doing, or what you're doing. How can I help? For example, with with Virginia Outside and that kind of stuff. So with so many different programs, so it sounds like, you're pretty much a year-long program. I mean, when people think of, outdoor activities, usually they're thinking spring, summer, when it's warmer, but you're year-round, right?
We're year round, and we're fortunate enough to have the weather in Richmond that allows us to really play outside for the good majority of the year, with the exception of, I'd say, maybe like end of November through the end of February. We primarily stick to indoor rock climbing. We've got a few rock climbing gyms in the area, Peak Experiences and Triangle Rock Club, that help support us and give us a space to play and partner with us. And that has been a huge opportunity for us to kind of capitalize on those 3 or 4 months, especially with how much growth in the adaptive space for recreation we've seen the last few years, specifically rock climbing. Our adaptive rock climbing programs have just skyrocketed. To give you some rough numbers, last year, first quarter of 2022, we ran about 16 programs, all indoor climbing, and this year we ended up with about 50. So you can see the popularity is just there, and thankfully we've got a great support system of community belayers and partners and gear and supporters, and just life is good right now.
That's awesome. So with, that's a lot of programs. So, and that kind of brings back to another question. So how many people, with all your different programs, whether it be fishing, rock climbing, whitewater rafting, that kind of stuff, like how many people, I guess, do you see or do you serve, throughout the year?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've seen an uptick, year after year, which is great. The groups that we work with, we're a little bit different, where we don't have an open calendar where the public just signs up. We partner with groups that have existing members, clients, participants. They have their community, and we partner with them and we facilitate the adventure for them. Last year, we did just about 200 programs and served over 1,700 people. And then what I really love about that number, because it's a great number, but almost 300 to 400 of those participants got to come multiple times, which is really great. So not only are we really working hard on, acquisition and retention, not only are we really working hard on getting people into the outdoor space who have never had the chance before, but now we're trying to give them multiple experiences, teach them safety skills, give them kind of a good baseline to grow, an experience into a passion and do it multiple times, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, and well, both of those numbers are impressive, I think. So, but for the ones that have come back to multiple trips, what do you think it is? Because, and it sounds like for the most part, these individuals are experiencing whatever form of the outdoors for the first time during that first trip or whatnot, or activity. So, what do you think about that first experience is like hooking them and be like, oh, when is the next one I can go through, and vice versa?
It's probably a mixture of a few things. It's it's a chance to try something new, and if it's a good experience, which we really work hard to make sure it is, then it's the, well, what else is there that I haven't tried that I might like? So there's that kind of revelation, which is really great. It's also the social aspect. It's participants and volunteers and partners coming together, the inclusive nature that we really, try to create for the 1 to 3 hour program. They look forward to seeing us again, and we look forward to seeing them again. So, we were really a model of a one-off program where you come fishing once and then, we might see you hiking another time. But now, since we saw so much interest and so much outreach, we kind of developed clubs. So now, one of you had somebody on, Kate, with Jacob's Chance. We have a lot of clubs with Jacob's Chance Fishing Club, Hiking Club. So we'll do a 6-week program and we'll go fish a different pond once a week. So now we get to have different experiences. They get introduced to different public spaces, parks specifically. And we get to see the same participants come back really, and we get to develop relationships with them. And it's just, I don't know, it really kind of is a whole nother in-depth aspect of the impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that obviously speaks to the experience you're providing and really kind of honing in on those relationships, and to see and hear, with Jacob's Chance example, those programs kind of, hey, our people want more of that. How do we make more of it? And kind of, expanding it out that way. So is there and I know there's, with, over 1,700 people or whatever, in a certain time, that you've worked with, what has been like, I guess, a favorite story or something that you really just really sat back and be like, wow, like really kind of finding that fulfillment and helping others, but also, obviously, helping you as well, because you're doing some awesome stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Rolodex of stories is never ending. Every experience is, it might be similar with activity or even group, but it's very different because of the individuals who show up and who we get to connect with. Um, I think what I want to say is just the relationships that I've been able to develop over the past 9 years, 9 programming seasons of being able to get to know people who stay around and try different stuff, whether it's the first time or not, and get to know them and their families, and get to know them outside of our programming and socialize. So it's way more than just the activity that we do and the connections that I've made, and now I'm starting to see my staff is making with participants. It's a common phrase that Katie, who's our program director here, is like, we go climbing, but it's just like climbing with a bunch of friends. And she's so right, where it's just like, we get to build these relationships with our participants. And that's what, half of our mission and why we exist is. It's about community. Part of it, half is about giving people opportunities that they haven't had before or often enough. The other half is about bringing the community together. Let's play together. Let's socialize. Let's have fun. And that's what brings our community together. That's how we learn more about people with disabilities and what they're able to do. And that, can domino into job opportunities and careers and, just so much more. You realize that you travel to the same vacation spots and you eat at the same restaurant and you are going to the same concert. Like, there's so many similarities that we have. And we get to fortunately find out about those when we're fishing for an hour or, on a pontoon boat to relax for 2 hours. So it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, a whole nother layer to it besides kind of the big picture, which is great. So what is, I guess, with so much kind of growth and expansion and kind of increasing that impact over, last 9 years or so, what is kind of on the horizon for 2023 of, what is anything new coming up or just kind of anything that you would like to see happen?
I'd like to say just more, but that's just kind of an easy answer, and more of everything. I think more programs, more partnerships. We've got a great partnership that really was our first partnership with RVA Paddle Sports. They're a local rafting outfitter in the area, and through a lot of meetings with them, we share an office space together in the same building. We can collaborate on new fundraisers, paddling opportunities, stuff like that. But more of an impact. We're really trying to, show more. Like you said, it's a deeper. It's deeper than just the experience. It's about how it's life changing, how it builds confidence, and the more we do, the more we get to understand that. We partnered with one of our great partners, the Autism Society of Central Virginia, this past weekend, at a local Camp Hanover, and did a father-son overnight experience. And Beyond Boundaries came in and was able to facilitate a fishing experience, and just being able to bond for multiple hours with multiple generations. That's just, it's really awesome. So I think, I don't want to say more is my answer, but it really is. And it's more of everything. And we're really developing an awesome crew, a great staff that's allowing us to, branch out and do different things.
Absolutely. And nothing wrong with more, as that, continues to grow, and that impact in those relationships as well, which is great. So, one thing that is, has come up a lot during this conversation is, community, the community of businesses, other nonprofits, other organizations as well that you've worked with. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this, you all are May's nonprofit partner. So 20% of sales from illumincollect.com will be donated to you all. But before we started recording, we were kind of going back and we're like, wow, this will be the fifth time. So that we've collaborated together. So what does the community collection mean to you, and kind of those kind of partnerships for that, kind of those relationships?
Yeah, I mean, when you and I met, it was, I don't even remember how we met, but it's almost like when we did meet, we just stayed connected. I remember you found yourself in Richmond, I think visiting one time, and we got to meet up in person, which is great, and go rock climbing, and stay connected and talk business ideas. And I think that, that word community is the backbone of our organization. We would 100% not be where we are right now if we didn't have a community. Community of volunteers, of spreading the word, of offering their skills, their passion, their time. Time is, you can't put a dollar amount on that. It's amazing. Offering their finances to make sure that people don't have to go in their own pockets to have this. So, like, the community that we have in Richmond, I could not be more thankful for. And you're part of that community, and I'm excited that we're part of your community. And I feel like at the root of anything successful, you'll find community. So the partnership that we do with you guys every year goes way beyond the month. Everyone who purchases, this year's version, I cannot thank you enough, because those dollars give people experiences, but those experiences, have a lasting effect way beyond when we get off the river with them, or stop fishing for the day. And I hope that's the same thing of when you wear our shirts, or you put the sticker on your water bottle and someone asks what that's about. Like, that's a great opportunity just to spread and expand our community, of share the mission that adventure is for everyone, and make sure that it'd be great if more organizations started to offer the services that we're doing in Richmond. And if we can help make that happen, I'd love to offer anything we can to make sure that happens. So I really am a firm believer of, like, to be successful, you have to have a community, and we're very fortunate to be a part of yours, and we're very fortunate for the community we've developed in Richmond.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely appreciative to be able to work with you and support how you can, or how we can as well, even though, now we're a couple states over, but next time I'm in Richmond, though, I'll definitely be stopping by. But so to that point, where can people find you online to learn about your programs? If they are there in Richmond, they can get involved, and kind of check you out.
Yeah, so we actually, one thing we're excited about, we just, volunteers are a huge piece of our organization. And again, we couldn't do what we do without them. So we've developed a whole program built around our volunteers. Brand name, it's called Adventure Guides. And you have a field guide book, and you have all these, things you can work towards and connect you, with other adventure guides. All that can be found on our website, which is beyondboundariesrva.org. And then our social media, we have Instagram and Facebook, which are both Beyond Boundaries RVA.
Awesome. Everyone will definitely make sure you check him out. As you can tell, there's a lot of passion behind his 9 years. That's a long time. So a lot of passion behind that. Love supporting him. And if you want to pick up a shirt, you can visit www.illumincollect.com. And I can't wait to see what 2023 holds for you.
Same here, man. I appreciate it.